achieve success with global.media.com. Every step forward is a new beat to your drum. Achieve success with global.media.com. Let's celebrate it with or without champagne.
Yay! Happy Friday. Yes. Good evening, everyone. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are joining us from all over the world. It's another Friday, another time again, where we are spending time with you and just to enjoy the moment, enjoy the hour, and be able to spread more positivity intentionally. Another Friday where we build community, another Friday we are building relationship, another Friday where we are inspiring people, we are motivating people, and we are encouraging one another. So I want to say a big welcome to you. And if you are here with us, you are Team Life, kindly tag hashtag Team Life. Or if you are watching the replay, just put hashtag Team Replay and drop a comment. Let us know that you are there, you are joining us, you are watching, or whether you are joining us live or you are watching the replay. So I know there are many persons already on the stream right now. Drop a comment, let us know that you are joining us so that we can highlight you on the screen, we can shout you out, and we can let the world know that you are here with us. You are our MVP, you are our celebrity, you are our superstar, and that's the reason why we are so excited to always shout you out, to always welcome you. So do not hold back. If you are joining in live, drop a comment, let us know that you are here. You know, behind the scene, before we came in live, I was just sharing with the team, like, today, Friday, makes it exactly 3 years. 3 years you'll be showing up consistently. 3 years of showing up on this space every Friday. 3 years of bringing the energy, the positivity, inspiring thousands of people globally. It's just so amazing. When I look back, I'm like, wow, it's 3 years already. I'm like, woo! Just like yesterday. But looking forward, 3 years down the line, we are still standing, and I want to say big kudos to the team. You know, the team made it possible. There are days I was not here. There are days Annie was not here. There are days Jamie was not here. But one thing that happened is the event still held. We still show up. We came in here. Why? Because we know that anytime we show up, we are creating value. Anytime we show up, we are inspiring people. And to everyone who has been joining us, who have been supporting us, who have been part of our event week in, week out, we want to say a big shout out to you, a big thank you. You make our event what it is. You inspire us every day to do more. You inspire us every day to keep encouraging people. So we want to say a very big thank you to you. If today is your first time joining us, welcome to our Positivity Live, a place where we are very intentional about positivity. For us, we have a vision to spread positivity to every corners of the earth, one person at a time. And I'm your host, and I'm not doing this alone. My name is Zion Inogeru, joining you all the way from the beautiful country of Nigeria in West Africa. It's always a privilege because for me, it's all about humanity. It's all about supporting one another. It's all about encouraging one another. And I'm a positivity coach and mentor. I help people embrace the power of positivity in the midst of the overwhelming situations, in the midst of the overwhelming workload, life load, relationship load, but you can still choose to stay positive. So if you're out there, you're struggling to stay positive, you want to embrace positivity intentionally, do it to reach out to me. Let's go on a journey of positivity together. And I tell you, there's so much possibility on this journey, and the possibility awaits you only if you embrace it. I already have on stage with me my amazing co-hosts who have been here with us week in, week out. I know they're already excited, they're already happy to join us on stage already, to share, to inspire, and to tell us who they are and what they do. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to join me to celebrate my amazing co-host and the person of Mr. Enning, Jimmy Edward, and Lydia is not here, Issa is not here, but they sent their amazing regard. So, Mr. Enning, I'll just pass the mic to you now. I'll get the first on my screen. So you can just make a shout out to everybody at home. Introduce yourself, let them know who you are, what you do, and how you help people.
Excellent. I see many of our friends are joining us as we speak. David, welcome, my friend. Saying hi from the UK and stay encouraged from your chief encouragement officer. That's Zion, right? Because Zion, no, well done. So now 3 years is it's a good stint at anything, right? But we're here because of you. We're here because you organize. You set the topic. You did the invites. So you are the one that keeps this van going, right? Well done, you. It's a credit to you that this show goes on every time, right? So, Okare, how you doing? Long time no see. Glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. Say, Ajibare. Welcome. Maybe I call you Faith instead. I don't know which one, but I'm sure it's Faith your first name, right? Welcome. We see you, my friends. If you're here, please drop us a note, right? I mentioned David. Didn't I? Yeah, I mentioned David. I don't mind. Well, I see you two in the studio, so glad you're here. It was great to have your thoughts. Look, for those who know me, those who don't know me, I'm Eni Osung. My company is Global Media, and I guess I'm doing what I do best and what I enjoy doing. And that's the way I like to look at life these days, right? You have to do what is fun for you, but you also have to do what pushes you to help people. So today I spent my day inviting friends for Eric F. King's Be Unstoppable 2025. That's a show that's on Monday. I guess it's a studio conference, studio seminar. You get to hear from 8 speakers about different topics that can inspire us, transform our lives. What does that work look like? Zion, it means me doing hundreds of DMs to my LinkedIn friends. Hundreds, literally hundreds. Not literally hundreds, right? And so I do spend my time doing marketing, but so my real passion is helping people to write their books. So I've been doing Yolanda's book, and I got a few more books in the pipeline as well. So I say, right, I will help you write your book, publish your book, sell your book, even guarantee to make your book a bestseller. If any of that can help you, then let's talk. So that maybe the last thing I do is what I call these days truth telling to self. Truth telling to self. I think we need to. I just have this feeling that we all know so much. We need to begin to apply to really change our lives. That's what this room's for. Let's not just listen. Let's not just read. Let's not just watch the videos. Let's actually start doing big things, right? All this will come back to our topic today, Mrs. Z. But thank you so much for what you do. Cyrus, I see you too. Welcome to Dr. Leslie. We see you. Glad you're here. As our mindset genius, glad you're here as well. Thank you so much. Jamie, I give the mic to you, my friend.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
All right, perfect. Good to see everybody here today. Crazy, I think it's been 3 years, right? Like that's, man, just wild how far it's come and just how much we've been doing this and how many people have joined us, since we've been doing this, right? So kudos to everybody for, I wouldn't say 3 years just with us too. I mean, obviously we got a lot of people who've been joining this call for 3 years too, right? So it's almost like their 3-year anniversary also of this call. So wow, so exciting. For those who don't know me, I am Jamie Edwards. I am coming to you from the United States. I'm in Illinois, right in the Midwest of the United States, about an hour outside of Chicago. And I have my own company called Jam Sessions with Jamie. And what I do is I do career coaching. I've been doing this now for 3 years, actually. So almost around the same time as starting this call, actually. I've been doing this career coaching now. And what I do is I help job seekers every day with resume writing, interview practice, and LinkedIn profile optimization. I do this through Zoom calls. We're going to be talking about mentorship today. So I'm going to be sharing kind of how I feel like I'm a mentor, to a lot of the people I work with, not just working with me, but, not as just a business person, but working as a mentor. So we'll talk about that later. But what I do is I help people write resumes. So I write resumes from scratch and I do one-on-one coaching sessions to go over their resume and make sure they're happy with it. I help people with interview practice. So I put together detailed notes talking about preparing for interviews, answering the easiest and the toughest questions during the interview process, negotiating salary. I do all those things with people, and I also help people get their visibility better on LinkedIn. So I help people make their profile stand out. I help them with a content creation strategy so they can start posting more often. Help them with a Canva banner, with a headline, an about me section, pretty much revamping their whole profile so they can get more visible and they can get more recruiters and hiring managers to find them easier. Like I said, I've been doing this for 3 years on my own. I've worked with about a little bit over 700 job seekers now. I've got a lot of recommendations on my page, and I don't know if any of you on this call are in the job market looking for an opportunity, but I'd be happy to help out or at least have a conversation with you to talk a little bit more about how I can assist. And that's a little bit about me, and I'm excited for today's topic. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it back over to Zion. And if anybody wants to get up on stage, please, we have a great conversation today talking about some of the challenges. If you've ever mentored somebody or maybe someone's mentored you, what were some of those challenges and how can we, make those challenges better so it's better for both parties, right? So we're going to talk a lot about that. And please come up on stage. And good to see you, Dorothy, as well, saying congrats. You've been here since the beginning as well. Positivity Live has been a 3-year blessing for me. Well, once again, thank you for being here as you are pretty much every week. We appreciate that. So Zion, pass it back over to you.
Yes, thank you so much, Jamie. That was powerful. That was great. That was amazing. And, just to be able to see the testimony from people, talking about how they have been impacted by our positivity event week in, week out. It's just so amazing. And that's the purpose of what we do. It's not just for events for the sake of it. No, an event to make an impact, to make a difference, to encourage, to inspire, to motivate people to be the best version of themselves, to do more. Because one thing that we keep talking about that for the past 3 years is this, that's in positivity, there's always endless possibilities. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter what you are going through right now or what you have been through. With the power of positivity, there's so much possibility that are waiting. And I'm so glad there are many persons who have been impacted. And thank you, Dr. Dorothea, for the testimony, how it has impacted. And I know there are thousands of people out there who have been really impacted by this. So last week, we started a series about mentorship. And it was a really, really great conversation where we have Coach David, we have our brother Cam, we have Cyrus here, and we have a few other persons who spoke about the topic about mentorship, which was very, very powerful. And we are, like I said last week, we are continuing from that end. We spoke about some of the advantages, the important and the experiences in our mentorship program. But today we are specifically talking about some of the challenges that we encounter in mentorship and what's the way forward. For everything that we do, there's always an advantage, there's also a disadvantage. So last week we spoke more on the disadvantages, so on the advantages, but this week we are going to be looking at practical problems and practical solutions. Because I tell you, there are many issues or many problems, many misunderstandings that has been encountered in the process of mentorship. Like a whole lot of people do not even know how they got there or even how to come out of it. So today's conversation is going to be focusing more on these, and I believe that there's so much that is going to be shared today. We already have our guests with us behind the scene. We already have Paulette with us. Yes, Paulette, happy Friday. So good to see you. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Amazing. Welcome. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for being with us week in, week out. It's always amazing. I know we have a question for Jamie on stage, and I'm sure Jamie's going to throw more light on that, even when he's going to share and talk about it. And Leslie was asking Jamie, how is AI impacting your resume writing? And I think that's a very profound question, which I know you're going to throw a little light about that, as time goes on. And I'm just going to share a little story about my encounter in mentorship and how fun it is. So someone reached out to me and like, oh, Mrs. Zion, I want you to be my mentor. Okay. And well, it's good. Sometimes it can be so exciting seeing that people are looking up to you and they want you to mentor them, they want you to teach them. It can be very, very exciting. But beyond the excitement, beyond the feeling of trying to make an impact, beyond the feeling of, oh, you are doing something that somebody is looking up to. It's the ability for you to know, what am I mentoring you on? That was a question I asked. I like, okay, fine and good. You wanted me to mentor you, or you want me to mentor you. The question is, what am I mentoring you on or for? Now, this was a question the person could not answer. Or the person know, like, okay, mentor me. Mentorship is wide, it's like an ocean. It's a wide, it's so wide, it's like an ocean, and without a proper compass, you get lost in the ocean. You get lost, you get frustrated, you get tired, you don't even have a sense of direction, a sense of where you are going to. And that's the reason why, for me, when it comes to mentorship, one of the major problems I've really encountered, and I know that a lot of persons out there might be encountering, is the fact that, people do not have or do not know where they need mentorship on. That's the truth. A lot of mentees who say, "Oh, I need mentorship. I need mentorship. Can you mentor me? Can you mentor me?" They're just talking about mentorship probably because, oh, they heard about mentorship is good, mentorship is great, mentorship can change your life, mentorship can do X, Y, Z. But a lot of people do not really understand that you have to streamline mentorship. Mentorship is not everywhere. Mentorship has to be tailored to a certain area, to a certain field, to a certain expertise that can benefit you as a person. So one of the major problems is lack of goals and lack of clarity on when you need mentorship. And I tell you, if there is no clarity in mentorship, you are not going anywhere. You cannot measure the progress. You cannot be accountable for yourself or you don't even know what to do. You don't even know what to. That's why, for anyone who needs a mentor or you need a mentee, there is a need for us to draw a straight line of what's the goal, what's the purpose of this mentorship, what do I stand to gain, what do I stand to benefit, or in what area of my life am I looking forward to improve, to learn, or to acquire your mentoring on. A lot of people do not know how to streamline it. They only go mentorship. But like I said, it's so wide. So we must be able to, have a clear goals and a clear expectation. A clear goal and a clear expectation. And also be clear to say, okay, this mentorship for how long? Because for most people, they don't think because you decide to be the mentor, it's going to be for life. Yes, there are some cases because of relationship, it can be for life. It can, because of the closeness, it can just keep going on and on and on. But then, not having a time frame can be very, very dangerous. Why? Because you cannot actually measure if you have grown on how long you've grown. And this is something that a lot of people are really missing. Firstly, not having a clear goal, and secondly, not being able to have a time frame towards the kind of growth they are looking for. Not being able to have it because the time frame can help you to measure if you are growing, can help you to measure if you are the transformation, can help you to measure if you are becoming a better person. Take for example, I meet Mr. N and say, okay, Mr. N, I want you to mentor me in this particular. Now, it's very good. It's very amazing. It's very, at least I'm very passionate about growth. I want to become a better person. Now, one way for me to really know that I'm growing, it's okay. Having a clear goal and being able to set a time frame. You can, okay, mentor me for 3 months, mentor me for 6 months, mentor me for 1 year, as the case may be. So the ability for us to draw that line of mentorship is key and it's very, very important. And my third point, and it's something that I really experienced as I'm able to share with it, you know, not everybody can be your mentor. That's something I've come to learn on my journey. Not everybody can be your mentor. And that's the mistake that most people make. Because a person is good at a particular thing, or the person has the technical know-how to particular thing, does not necessarily mean that the person can be a mentor. Everybody cannot be your mentor. You cannot just see this person, oh, I like this person, automatically become a mentor. No, it does not work like that. There is need for you to study this person, because beyond what they know, there's a character issue along the journey when it comes to mentorship. Most of the time, the person might have the knowledge of what you want to learn, but at the end of the day, the character match does not align. The both of you does not resonate with each other. Probably your goals, your the skill, the aspiration does not align. That's why when we are looking for a mentorship, be able to find somebody that can resonate with you, somebody you can resonate with, somebody that might have the same passion, that might have the same, that might be heading towards the same direction you are going to. So we must be conscious and be aware that not everybody can be your mentor. It's a truth I have to embrace. A lot of young persons, they just go anywhere. Oh, this person is mentoring people. Oh, you are joining the show, mentor me. No. That's why knowing who you are, defining your goal, defining your expectation as a person is very key. When you're able to define these things, it helps you to be able to pick the right person for yourself, for your goal, for your visions, and for your aspiration. And lastly, I'm going to end with this, which is very, very important. If there's something I've learned about mentorship, that's why I spoke about time frame earlier. One of the reasons that putting a time frame to measure your growth is very, very important is so as to be able to see the commitment from both parties. Most times, because there is no time frame to mentorship, people get tired along the way. People get busy along the way. And that's the reason why people need to understand that when it comes to mentorship, the time frame helps you to stay committed to the cause. If there is no goal, there cannot be commitment. So the ability for us to have a goal set out at the beginning of the journey will help us to measure if you are committed or not. We help us to hold ourselves accountable. So as much as you want mentors, you want people to mentor you, or you want a mentee, there is need for us to be committed. So mentorship is beyond the word. It's beyond the verbal agreement or the written agreement. There has to be intentionality. You have to give your time. You have to give your energy. You have to give your resources to make sure that the journey of mentorship is complete. And this that we are talking about is a two-way street. Commitment from the mentor, commitment from the mentee. Most of the time, when one party lacks the commitment, the growth will not be there. The outcome or the desired result you want to see will not be there if both parties tend to lack that commitment. That's why it's very, very important. And you must know that time commitment is key, and it's very, very important. There's so much to share. This is just a summary. And from my own personal experience, I've been able to learn this on my journey. And that's why I said, these are things that people need to hear. These are things that people need to be aware about. And I believe and I know that there's so many nuggets and so many shares that will be coming in after. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening. I'll pass the mic to Mr. Elina so he can share with us, then Jimmy, then we can have our special guest join us and also share their thought on this particular topic. So, Mr. Eni, I'll pass the mic to you now.
Awesome. See, I'm always minded to give our friends the floor because I don't like people waiting too long. Yes. Jamie, if you don't mind, so I'm happy to let Paulette speak, and then let's hear from Cyrus, and then we can share our parts. If that's all right, Jamie.
Yeah, that's totally fine with me. Sounds good.
All right, Paulette, welcome on stage. I see your question. You can ask a question if you want, or you can tell us what you want to tell us.
Well, thank you for allowing me to speak, and hello, everyone. And what I did is I wrote down, what is a mentor? It is a trusted, experienced individual who provides guidance, support, and advice to a less experienced person known as a mentee. But my question is, what happens when there's a personality conflict between the mentor and the mentee? What does a person do? Well, I'm going to make it really, really simple. I remember mentoring a little boy, my girlfriend's little boy, who wanted to learn how to ride a bike. You guys remember that, teaching your children how to ride a bike? Well, he had to trust me that I knew what I was talking about. And one of the things he did, he saw me do it. He saw me riding my bike. So he had confidence that I can do it. So how can you have trust and confidence in a mentor who's never done it before? And so not only did he trust me, but he knew I can do it. And I was guiding him. Even though he fell down many, many times, I told him, it's okay, get back up, try it again. Try it again and try it again. And that's what he did. So eventually he did it on his own. He looked back, he said, Nana, I'm doing it, Nana, I'm doing it. Yes, you are doing it on your own. Because not only did he try, but I gave him the self-confidence that he can keep doing it, even though he fell down. But when you have a mentor who's not patient, who wants you to do it right the first time, who passed judgment on you that you're not doing it the first time, and then go and tell gossip, oh, she just lazy, she just don't really want to do it, she don't do this and whatever. Well, if I told that little boy that, hey, you're going to fall down, you're never going to get it, you might as well just give it up. And so when he fell down, I was like a mama, oh my, let me kiss it, let me kiss it. I was supporting him all the way. But when you don't have the support and you get the criticism, and even if you don't say anything, but you don't encourage the person to keep going, and you give the side eye like, yeah, right, okay. It's like a culture thing difference. Chances are the mentee won't learn much because the mentee has lost respect of the mentor. It's a relationship between both parties, mutual respect and admiration. And when you don't have that, it's like one person, the mentee want you to get it really fast, like they learn, but you got to understand that everybody don't learn the same way. Some people want to hear it. Some people want to read it. Some people want to be shown. But when you judge the mentee and start talking bad about the mentee, and the mentee start hearing the rumors, and mentee start seeing the side eye and the slander, putting you down with slander, you don't have very much confidence in that person. So when you take someone in your hands, you have to treat them like a baby, just like a baby learning to walk. Don't belittle them, but respect that person. A person knows if they're being respected or not. And so I would like to hear other people's point of view on this as well. Thank you for listening.
Share so many gems there, Paulette. So many gems, right? You know, it is a two-way street, and that problem that you mentioned can happen. You know, I'm sure we're going to talk about this many times today. You know, building that credibility, it means something. You know, how can someone? Why would someone listen to us if we don't have the receipts, the experience? Rather they shouldn't, right? You know, and of course, there's many things that mentors can do, which they seem small. You know, I think the trust thing is equally important. You have to trust your mentor. You have to trust your mentee. Again, that's a two-way street, right? As you mentioned, Paulette. You know, if the mentee is not applying, it's not learning. If the needle's not moving, what's the point? This is how mentoring relationships go and die. There's no, once one person decides this is not worth my time, we're in trouble. You know, and I think it comes down to what you said: building a real relationship, and maybe I might also add caring. Care for what the mentee is learning. Care for this relationship to work. Care for someone to get the benefits that we can share. That's how we overcome many of the obstacles. Like you say, the mentee is not always ready to learn to do this today. In time, they will. But if you don't care enough, then you start making those judgments, right? You know, the mentoring, as Mrs. Z explained as well, it's a minefield. Can anyone be a mentor? Of course we can. You know, does everyone get benefits from mentoring? No. You know, but again, I'm sure we're going to come back to this in good time for it. Dwight, so, right, the personality conflict. I'm brave enough, and I'll answer it. Then I'll give the mic to Jamie to introduce our next speaker and give you his thoughts on your question as well. Oh, right. Personality clashes. I think, you know, we can look at it differently, Paulette, and say it's more people are different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I truly believe the mentor and the mentee have to give a bit. You know, because in this life we have to get on to build those relationships. Right? You know, we have to want to like you and be your friend and get on with you as much as you have to want to like me and be my friend and get on with me, right? Isn't it? It's a two-way street. You know, I think, you know, we'll need to learn how to be nice people. I don't want to use the word nice, I'm saying, but, you know, we have to be genuinely caring people, right? You know, personality, okay, we're not best friends. It's not the end of the world. As long as we can carry on working together to get the benefits that we set. You know, this goes back to Zion's point right at the beginning. There must be a goal. What does a mentee want to learn? What do I commit to help them learn as a mentor? You know, and then I think just being a caring person with someone who wants to help the mentee, who really wants to help, the mentee who wants to learn. That's in a way you overcome what you call personality conflicts. Look, these conflicts exist everywhere, Paulette. But you know that already, right? You know, I'm thinking about my customers. You know, they're all very different, but the ones I choose to get on with are the ones that I get to work with and do great work with. It's very easy to say, "Oh, I don't like that person. I don't get on with them, so I'm off." We have to make a choice that we're going to make this relationship work. And what does that really mean in practicality, Paulette? It means we're going to dedicate the time that we say we're going to dedicate for us to meet. It means we're going to talk with kindness, talk with honesty, you know, but talk with purpose. This is how you're going to get over these conflicts, right? And if there's some misunderstandings, this difference of opinions, difference of views, let's talk it out. That's the only way it can work. That's my take anyway. That's my say. I'd love to know what our friends think. Jamie, I give the mic to you, my friend.
Very good, Annie.
No, Annie, I think you hit it on the head. I mean, I'm going to talk a little bit about mentorship here too, but yeah, no, thanks, Paula, for your opinion. And I think I'm going to introduce the next person here, Annie. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's all yours.
All right, let's keep it going. Let's hit up Cyrus, who's here on mute here. So, Cyrus, if you want to go ahead and unmute your mic, go ahead and share your thoughts on today's topic, and then I'll jump on and share my thoughts right after you're done. These are the toughest questions during the interview process.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me, guys?
Can hear you just fine.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for your great share, Paulette. Jamie, you're my favorite and one of the most famous mentors that I know on LinkedIn. It's a pleasure to be in your presence on this live event. Annie and Zion, I wouldn't be where I am without you two. So, and I'm grateful. Regarding mentorship, there's a lot you can say, and I'm going to focus on where I went wrong about it. The difference between coaches and mentors, right? Sometimes some people take these two for each other, which is a common mistake, right? Do we need mentors? Yes, we do. Do we need coaches? Yes, we do. What connects them to each other? What are the differences? So in terms of the connection between the two. At some point, we need either both or one of them, right? So that's the difference between price and value, right? So price is something that we always pay, but value is something we don't always get, right? So at some point, your business, your personal development, whatever you're working on, needs one of these. Not every motion is progress, right? So and not every motion is movement. Not every movement is progress, right? So regarding the differences, one of the differences between the two, coaches and mentors, both valuable, by the way, but one of the differences is a coach helps you improve some sort of specific skill or achieve some sort of maybe, I think it's fair to say, something like a short-term goal, perhaps. But a mentor guides your overall growth, or your mindset, or your long-term journey. So they are more grand schemy than coaches, right? Another difference is duration. So a coach is usually structured, time-bound, and is performance-driven, like helps you with your KPI, as an example. But mentorship is organic, ongoing, and often takes years and years. And you have to be in that person's presence to really get the benefits from that person. The third one that I can mention is the type of approach these two have, a coach and a mentor. Coaches ask powerful questions to help you find your own answers. And mentors share wisdom with you, stories with you, and their experiences to light your way ahead. You know, sometimes you wish you had like 5, 10, 15 years of experience, and you could use that level of experience in 15 minutes. You need someone to help you with that, and a mentor is the answer there. Difference number 4, I can mention the expertise, the area of expertise. That a coach may not have walked your exact path, but is trained to enhance your performance. A mentor has lived your path and provides context, insights, and personal lessons. So I see a lot of people hire coaches and they feel they have hired a mentor, but please look at the need that you have before you hire one. Because if you hire a mentor who's not doing same thing you are doing, or is not in the same industry as you and hasn't done the same things you want to do, that's a coach. That's probably a coach, but definitely not a mentor, right? And final one that I want to cover is coaching is often professional and transactional, but mentorship is personal and transformational. These are really important because we shouldn't take these two for each other, a coach and a mentor. Like confidence is different with arrogance, value is different with price, knowledge and wisdom can't be the same, love and attachment can't be the same, even though they're very close sometimes, right? Growth and change, authenticity and oversharing, there's a line between these two concepts, these two pairs of concepts. Passion and obsession, being busy, being productive, making progress or just moving, communication and connecting, leadership versus authority, and happiness versus pleasure. So you need to find out which one of these two you need specifically. Is it a mentor you need, or is it a coach? Thank you.
Very well said, Cyrus. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and giving some really good pointers as well. I saw when you were talking, a lot of the comments were kind of blown up here too, and people were kind of sharing some of their thoughts here. So I want to go ahead and address some of these comments too as well, and shout out some of these comments. Do we want to pull some of these up, guys?
We're ready. Which one do you want to go with first, Jamie?
Yeah, we got a lot of good ones, actually, honestly. I see on here, Leslie talked about how she picked someone in our community to help her who wanted so much to do that, but unfortunately proved to have no expertise. That is a problem sometimes too. Sometimes the mentor is not the right person for us, or they might say they've got the experience and it doesn't amount to what you think it's going to be. So I can understand that obviously being a disconnect, and we're going to talk a little bit about that actually as well. Dr. Dorothea said, Paulette, I agree. The relationship has to be based on mutual respect and admiration. In a healthy mentor-mentee relationship, both individuals gain from the relationship. Very true. I love how you say that. Both do it and gain. It's not just the mentee, right? The mentor does too. So I love that. That sounds great. Let's see. Paulette said, what is a mentor? It is a trusted, experienced individual who provides guidance, support, and advice to a less experienced person known as a mentee. Straightforward. That's really what it is. Absolutely. And Obia Glory says, if you have a personality clash with your mentor or mentee, the aim of mentorship will likely not be achieved. Before you choose a mentor, the person should tick your checklist. Also, before you accept a mentee, the person should tick your checklist. Very true. Mentorship comes with a lot of trust and reputation. So let's talk about that, right? I'm going to share some thoughts on mentorship, with kind of how I coach people, right? And how I do my coaching sessions. I think the main thing, I do everybody I work with, right? I have to have a discovery call with them. I have to connect with them, and I have to make sure they understand, obviously, my process, and make sure our personalities are good for working with each other. And if it's not for some reason, I've got no problem recommending somebody to them, right? Or even telling them that it's not going to work out, right? That's what a good mentor does. There's a lot of people out there who are coaches who say they're mentors, and they will take on anybody they want, even if it's not a good fit, right? Because it's a client. They feel like they're going to make some money, right? And that's not how mentorship is. It's got to be a good fit, right? And I think the main thing with mentorship and the disconnect that is between them and the mentee is that a lot of times mentorship starts kind of without a clear goal in mind. Maybe there's no time, if I'm going to work with somebody, I'm going to make sure I let them know what the time commitment is going to be, right? A lot of times that disconnect is that there's no time commitment. There's no clarity on goals. The mentor doesn't let the mentee know what success looks like, right? That's a big deal. I mean, we got to know what success looks like. And if a mentor doesn't say that over the course of that first call, later on, that could lead to frustration. There could be a lot of disengagement and things like that, right? Another thing too that I think that I've just in my past, before I was even doing coaching, I've worked with other coaches before. I've had a mentor before. One of the things that I realized that I didn't like when I was working with somebody was that there was inconsistent amount of check-ins, or there was not a lot of honest feedback if something was not right or something needed to be changed, right? And I felt like the relationship with the people that I was working with, the coaches, wasn't a good relationship because I wasn't getting, it was hard for me to communicate with them. There wasn't any check-ins. We were not on the same page with several things. And I felt like I wasted my money at times, right? And I took that experience, and that's why when I work with people, I make sure they know when we're going to follow up. I make sure I'm consistent when I call them, and we check in on Zoom calls, things like that. I mean, you have to have that consistent check-in and that consistent back and forth communication, right? If you don't want to have that disconnect. One of the things I think too, that I think about also when I'm working with somebody, is that making sure that they have the amount of time, the mentee has enough space to be able to have a conversation with me. A lot of times there might be some mentors that they dominate the conversation. They overpower the conversation, right? They just talk, and 90% of them is talking to the mentee and telling them things and do this and do that, right? It needs to be a conversation, right? It almost reminds me of an interview. An interview is not an interrogation. It's not when one person is just dominating everything. It's a conversation. It's a two-way conversation, right? You got to have that conversation with people. So that's a big thing too when it comes to how we move forward with mentorship and mentees, right? there's a lot of different things I could go into here. But I think those are some of the main things, right? So I really think for there to be a good relationship and for both people to move forward with a connection, you've got to set those clear goals. You got to have those rules in place. You got to let them know what success looks like. So I always tell my clients, when I do this and this, here's what it should look like. Here's when we should start getting more interviews, right? Now, I don't set a time frame on when they should get hired, obviously, because I can't control that. But obviously, if you're going to work with me, there's got to be some success in place. There's got to be more interviews coming your way than they were having before they worked with me. And I want to make sure that even when we're done coaching, that I continue to check in, right? That I continue to see how their progress is going. If it's not working, what am I going to do to stay committed to them, to consistently check in with them and make sure we're tweaking things and we're doing different things so they get the success? Obviously, they're investing in me. It's my importance to continue to invest in that, right? So those are just some quick thoughts on mentorship and mentees. I consider even though it's a business relationship, obviously when I work with people, I consider myself a mentor with everybody I work with because I am, right? Because I'm teaching them things. I'm showing them different things they didn't know. I'm being a part of their job search journey. That's what a mentor does. They become a part of that journey and they interject themselves and they're part of that success. So that's my thoughts on mentorship and how that relationship works with mentees. And I'm going to pass it back over to, I think, Zion.
Yes, thank you so much.
Quick question, Jamie. Do you care to answer Paulette's question about dealing with personality conflicts? It's a question to you. I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying, do you want to answer it or should we move on?
Dealing with personality conflicts?
Yeah, so I'll bring the question up. So just to make sure that you understand.
Everyone's I not really kind of piggyback off what you said, but if a person, everyone's personalities are different, right? And I remember this kind of reminds me of like somebody I tried to work with a long time ago. I don't say their name, obviously, but our personalities just clashed, and they expected so much more than what I was giving them, and I was giving them a lot, 120% of what I do with everybody, right? But they were expecting so much extra, and they were, their personality was very just like straight and to the point. And this is what I need you to do, and this is what I want. And they were asking for more and more from me than what we originally established. And obviously, I should be able to charge more for what they were wanting, right? So it got to the point where I cut it off. I said that, what, this isn't working out. I gave them some of their money back, honestly. I tried to work it out, and I tried to explain, like, this is my process and how we do things. And I understand that you want me to do things a different way, but like, I know what works, right? And the personalities were just clashing. And I just felt like, I was being boxed into a corner a little bit with like not knowing how to proceed with this. And this is what they want to do. And if I didn't, what's the word I'm looking for? If I didn't give in to their demands and what they wanted to, then maybe they would bash me, or they would do something, or they would put me out there. So I just said, you know what? I gave you what I gave you here, and we already did the resume. And, I don't think we should continue forward with the other coaching sessions. I'm willing to give you some of your money back because I understand, obviously, if we're not fulfilling it, you should get some of your money back. I made an exception. And that was it. But personalities, yeah, that's what when I'm doing that discovery call, that's my way to see how our relationship is going to be. How are our personalities? That's my way to really get to know them better. I spend sometimes a half hour to 45 minutes on the discovery call, just seeing how, they're understanding my process, and do they see how it works? And is this going to be a match? Right. So that's kind of how I handle personality conflicts.
Amazing. Sounds good, Jimmy. That's so powerful. I was going to share light on that as well when it comes to personality conflict. One thing about personality conflict, that it doesn't just happen. It is triggered by something. And I love the fact that Jimmy was able to mention something that, about the expectations. The expectation can be too much or can be lesser than what you want it to be. So personality conflict doesn't just happen because it's personality conflict in quotes. There are triggers that lead to personality conflict. And one thing is, for some persons at the beginning, you might not see it, but on the journey, because of some misunderstanding or differences in expectation or lack of goal setting. All this can be a key factor in triggering, this and personality conflict that we see when it comes between mentors and mentee. But what do we do? It's always the way forward. What are the possible solutions when it comes to, you know, personality conflict? That's the reason why you have to go back to the drawing board. And having, a written document or something written down when it comes to the expectation of the relationship, when it comes to the expectation of the mentorship, it's very key. It's very, very important. Take, for example, a scenario where somebody is expecting too much that is not written down at the beginning. Being able to go back to the written down expectation, to the written down goals or the written down time frame, it's key. So when it comes to mentorship and the personality conflict, one thing I always encourage people is don't just talk about the expectation. Make sure that the expectations are documented, are well written down, because these are things that you can be able to use to measure it. Words of mouth are not enough. We live in a world that people can change. People can say one thing today and tomorrow they are saying something different. And then the other point is when it comes to personality different, and I will share it. Before you make somebody a mentor or you take somebody a mentee, this should be somebody that you've watched over time, you've studied, you've taken note of, you've made research on. So don't just pick people as a mentor because, maybe it's just sudden. Mentorship is not sudden. It's not something you rush into and say, be my mentor out of the blue. No, you have to go make research, study the person, get to know them before you can be committed to it. So also it is for mentors. When somebody comes to you for you to be their mentor, like Jamie said, have a discovery call. A discovery call can just be a call. Okay, this is just a call to meet you, to know you. Ask certain questions. There should be certain guideline questions that you need to be asking to say, okay, these ask questions based on the person, who they are, just to test their level of understanding, their empathy, their compassion, because these things are very, very important. Most people do not take it into account when it comes to empathy, when it comes to compassion, when it comes to understanding and active listening. All these are very basic things that we need to look at and put into consideration. By the time we tend to understand each other, by the time you tend to already know what people can do or their perception or their school of thought concerning a particular thing, you know how to handle, you know how to talk to them, you know how to reach out to them. And sometimes most of the personality conflict can just be caused by lack of understanding. I'm not understanding your point of view, and not understanding my point of view. So the ability for us to come to a place where we can understand each other, it's very, very important when it comes to addressing the issue of personality conflict. It varies, and there are so many examples we can give, and I believe that this is something that affects a lot of people, and the ability for us to talk about it, as some of the major challenges is very, very important. So thank you so much, Paulette, for that great question talking about personality traits and personality conflict when it comes to mentorship. With that being said, I think we have Dr. Dorothea with us on stage, and also we have
We do. I wonder whether I want to go to Miss Angelica first in case her signal disappears.
Yes, I think she's driving. Angelica, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
We are doing well. It's been a while. We missed you so much.
I know I miss you guys too. It's so good to hear your voice and everybody else's.
Thank you so much. You want to weigh in the conversation about challenges in mentorship and the way forward?
Oh, expectations, yes. I have an expectation when I went to the mechanics the other day, because they said that they were going to charge me $179 for diagnostic. And I thought, oh, okay, so they're going to check everything out with the car. No, they just check out. They have diagnostic techs for different types of things. And I'm like, oh, okay, so they have diagnostic for checking out the brakes, and they have another one for, I guess, the engine, And so I was a little confused, but that my expectation was for the diagnostic test to check everything. So um, I I've had some bad experiences with mechanics. Like you get a little leery, but it makes sense once you understand what the other person is, where they're coming from. Then you can understand. Oh, okay, that it really does take a lot of work to have to look inside different parts of the part of the car, let's say, uh, to see what if there is a problem, right? So expectations. When we have too many expectations, sometimes we could be frustrated. But I think once you understand the whole thing, then you feel better. Oh, looks like I got disconnected.
No. We can hear you loud and clear.
I just heard a uncomfortable silence.
No, we
Wow.
heard you.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Well, let's
Thank
go ahead.
No, I'm just letting her know that we heard her. You can go to
Yeah.
AutoZone and they do it for free.
Indeed, I love it when she said expectation, and that's very profound and powerful. Too much expectation sometimes can cause misunderstanding. Like she said, it can cause frustration. Why? Because you expected too much for a particular thing, and then the people are not meeting up to your expectation. You can get frustrated. And when people are frustrated, there you see the other part of them. They can easily get angry. They can easily get triggered. People can easily say things ordinarily they will not say. Why? Because they are frustrated. And she also made a very profound point: understanding things from other people's perspective. It's key. It's a matter of
Uh,
understanding.
Zion, can I say something else about that? I'm gonna be a little open about how I am. I'm the type
Okay.
of person that really give a lot of encouragement. I got that from my dad. I encourage people. I love people. And one of them, there's a husband and wife team. Well, I can do anything for her because she's so sweet and she just love on you. But the husband, he don't care about none of that. All he care about is results. He don't care what he has to say to you. He don't care how rude he is. The bottom line, I just want to see some results. So here's the problem. I don't want to do any results because he talked to me wrong. But if she talks to me, I can give her the world because she knows how to treat people with respect. Now, why is that? That's somewhat of a me problem.
Yeah.
I guess when I was in the engineering department, as I was coming up through the ranks, I had a boss like that. We called him Little Hitler. Eventually, somebody ran over him, but he would tell people off really, really bad. He would curse them out. Men would be crying. I was the secretary at the time, but he didn't care about anybody's feelings. He was really rude and very nasty. And I think that's how he was raised, how he got things done. And I think that the husband and wife, I think the husband was treated like that by his father. And for him, he was doing his job.
True.
So I'm just trying to, so I don't operate like that. So it's just like having a husband, like telling you, you bitch, you better get my dinner ready. You better do this or that. But if he tell me, sweetheart, I really like how you made those mashed potatoes. And I really like that roast beef that you cook. I would sure like to have that tonight. I would do anything for that. You see the difference?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I
Wow.
have to say.
Yeah, very, very, very profound example, Paulette. Very profound example. Two different people, two different approach. Same you, but two different approach because of their personality difference. Amazing. Thank you so much. There's so much to share today, but Leslie asked a question: is mentorship paid or not paid? But Leslie, before we go to your question, we're going to give the mic to Dr. Dorothea. She has been with us for a while now. Dr. Dorothea, thank you so much for
Let's do it. Let's answer Dr. Leslie's question. Let's because she asked earlier, right?
Yes,
So let's
yes.
do it again. Look, mentoring is unpaid. It's given freely. That's what pure mentoring is. But as I explained last week, so many corporates rather have a structured program. So the mentors are not paid, but they're given expenses. For example, if I'm going to spend time with you, so where we're going to meet. Yeah, so I might get some expenses to take you to a coffee shop or to a restaurant. Are you know? So mentoring is free. That's why coaching is paid, as Jamie mentioned earlier, but mentoring is free. That answers the question, Dr. Leslie. Before we go to Dr. Dorothea, let me welcome Sir Stanley as well. So welcome, glad you're here. I hear you're going on to Zoom party soon. How am I intertwined with your Zoom party experience, Dr. Stanley? I don't know. I won't tell you. Is anyone else I haven't mentioned yet? Festus, welcome. Mike, I see you too. I'll come back to your comments in good time. Thank you for joining us. If you want to join us on stage, my friends, the link is in the comments on the event page. So you're welcome to just click the link and then join us. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Mr. Z, I'll give it back to you to introduce Dr. Dorothea. Have you disappeared?
Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. A. I'm here. I'm here. All right, Dorothea, thank you so much. We can see that you're ready and all smart and ready to dish out some insight for us. So you can go for it.
Great, thank you. Speaking of dishing out, yeah, I'm doing this during my my lunch break. So again, thank you again for this community for supporting me so well. And after 3 years, I may just be in a role that that I feel is a great fit, and it's with a startup. And so we'll see how this works out. This is the end of my second week, and things are going well so far. In terms of mentoring, I agree. Mentoring is definitely an unpaid role. And to what Jamie said earlier, I think that in his case, it becomes more of a mentoring relationship versus coaching once that coaching relationship is over and he's doing those check-ins, right? Because many coaches I know, they don't, paid coaches, they don't really do the whole check-in thing once things are done, unless you schedule a session, et cetera, right? And so I think what Jamie is doing in terms of that is really great. And that does qualify, in my mind at least, as mentoring. And definitely many of the things that I heard, a mentoring relationship, in my opinion, does not work if there's a major personality clash or if there's a clash in values, right? Because that will, even if it's an unrecognized thing, that will impact how you are interacting as a mentor, as a mentee, right? Because you will have that kind of a filter on your thinking and on your interactions, right? As for me, I can have that kind of a mentoring relationship with a person who is abrasive. I'm from the South, people are very straightforward. Or I can modify my interaction in the relationship as a mentee or mentor based on the other person. What are they bringing to the table in terms of their energy? What do I need from them? What do they need from me, right? Because it is a two-way relationship. There may be some time in the future, if I'm a mentee now, that mentor may become the mentee of me if they're working outside of their area of expertise or knowledge and inside of mine. So it still would continue to be a mutually beneficial, a mutually respectful relationship because we bring something, each of us, different to the table. And that makes the whole relationship. And, what Zion and other people said, and Jamie, when you come to the table, even initially, to try to form this relationship, what does each person expect from the relationship? What are the expectations in terms of how often you're meeting, how infrequently you're meeting? What happens between meetings if something comes up and you just need to reach out to your mentor or mentee? What are the conditions for rescheduling? It's an agreement, and if you have that agreement in place initially, which it could change over time, mutually agreeably, of course, then you have kind of a roadmap as to how things are going to go, what it should feel like, what it should look like, what is success, what is success after 2 weeks, what does success look like over 3 months, whatever. And you can talk about initially, even, how long is the expectation that this relationship will last? Realistically, it's as long as it's still mutually beneficial, right? So that's what I would have to say. And my best mentoring relationships have been in situations where those things are talked about up front, unless it's an emergency mentoring type of a situation, which for me, my initial mentoring relationship was really more of that situation because a friend told his supervisor that I was in a hostile environment. And so our relationship started um, because of that situation, because he had the power to come in and to help move me out of that role. I was resistant initially, but he saw through that and he did help me to move into a different role. And so we had a mentoring mentee relationship for quite a while. One of my most unsuccessful mentee mentor relationships, I was a mentor and a high school student in one of those um, kind of hybrid schools where it was high school and college. She was doing courses at the same time. She was required to have a mentor, I think, as part of the program, but she really wasn't up for it. She was late. She wasn't very engaged. We had an agreement. She didn't stick to it. So that relationship lasted for a few months. And it was happening during my midday when I had to travel across town from work and back. And that relationship, it didn't work. We tried it for a few months, and half of the time she just didn't show up. Even after trying to understand, her motivation and what was keeping her from showing up, she just really wasn't that interested. So it takes both parties being interested, understanding what the ground rules are, being flexible enough to change the rules if necessary, change the schedule if necessary, but also making sure that both of you are getting what you need out of the relationship. And that's what I'll give for now. Thank you.
Mrs. Z fell off. Now, beautifully said, Dr. Dorothea. It takes a lot, but it takes a lot on both sides, right? And in a good mentoring relationship, everyone grows, everyone benefits. So I like that. Why would I turn my camera off? Okay, I'm here, right? And I think some of the complications that you mentioned, Dr. Dorothea, they're true. Look, I think anyway, as this is my thoughts, my opinion. It's other people might do it differently. I know Mike does it differently. As a mentoring is a formal relationship. Formal means there's structure to it. There is some understanding around expectations, around process, around goals. Some people like the whole unstructured thing, but that just sows a seeds for everything we talked about challenges wise. Chaos is what I call it, right? Again, in a structured program, Paulette, that there's normally a matching process. Jamie calls it the discovery call. I'm saying, so when I organize mentoring programs, that the mentee gets a list of options. These are the mentors we have. This is what they're experts at. What do you want to learn? Is a question that we really ask, right? And then we can begin to say, who can you work with to learn that? And then that's when the personality thing comes into it. Which of these best fits the sort of person you are, sort of person you like to work with? I think that structure. When it's missing, most mentoring relationships disappear. They just fade, and then everyone goes, I don't know what happened. I know what happened. There was no structure, right? There's nothing written down. Yeah, so no, great share, Dr. Dorothea. And I will say, as Zion said, congratulations on your new role. Well done. It's taking 20 years off your face, my friend. Yeah, you're looking glorious, is what Zion said. So we can all see it from here. So of course we pray it goes well. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Good on you. Thank you for sharing with us. Let's do some of the comments. Jamie, have you shared your thoughts on I think you shared your thoughts, didn't you? I don't want time to expire, and then I'm like, Jamie didn't get to say. So mentoring depends on perspective. I guess I don't know what that word is. It's how how we're viewing it. I guess where we're viewing it from, right? So welcome to Miss Faith. I see you. So welcome. Yeah, it depends on perspective. Where we're looking at it from. Okay, I see what you mean there, my friend. Yeah, of course it does. But I suppose this takes me to Mike's point, which I'll get to in a second. So mentoring is on paid, primarily coaching is paid. So most of us are mentors to people. People are looking at us and learning from us. So without necessarily that formal program in place. So Mike says, I can be mentored with the interaction with a mentor. I'm not sure, Mike. I'm saying it's much more constructive, it's much more stable when the mentor knows that they are your mentor and that they are I guess in place to do something for you. It goes back to the point I was just making with Dr. Dorothea. We need a structure, a reason, and a program of interaction. Surely, I don't know what it's called when there's no interaction. Yes, it's learning. Of course, it is. Yes, it's watching by maybe observing, right? I think that the conversation, the interaction is so important. I'll come back to this in a second, Mike, and I'll try and explain what I'm thinking, right? So thank you so much, Paulette. A very professional Dr. Dorothea. Amazingly good. Amazingly good. Are there more questions we've missed? Like I said, so Dr. Leslie says, that's very nice of you, Jamie. In my experience, a person kept all of it and never provided the service I paid for. So that's not mentoring, right? That's something else. That's a paid relationship is very different to mentoring. Mentoring is what it is, right? And these shows depend on the furious commenters. Don't be furious, Mike. Don't be furious. A difference of opinion, difference of views is fine, right? I think these events, you always get there's 5 of us on stage, 6 when Zion's here. I'm saying you're gonna hear different viewpoints. Of course you are. You have to take from it what you like, and then it may be what someone says, it may be what a combination of what 2 people say. Maybe you take nothing from it. Today you say, right, I don't agree with any of you. I've taken my thoughts, thanks. That's fine, right? Never get furious. So OBS says, when it's mentorship, money, profits is not the result. Oh, the actual results in long-term impact made. Okay, I can agree with that. I can definitely agree with that, right? Right. Look, my friends, let me give you some of my thoughts on what mentoring, the challenges in mentoring that I see. Look, I have organized and written mentoring courses, delivered them at university level. I've designed corporate mentoring programs. I've designed, even programs outside corporate. So mentoring is a big topic for me, right? Now, there's so many different challenges. But my friends, you've covered many of them beautifully, right? Now so I'm probably going to give you 3 or 4 that I think are humongous. I think we should bear in mind. I'm sure I'll address Mike's point and your point, OBO, as well, right? Look, The first problem I see in mentoring is when the mentee is like a scared rabbit, frozen in the headlamps. Like literally, like, I will never be able to do what the mentor does. That's a problem. Because the mentor is only human, right? And the whole point is for you to develop yourself to be greater than all of us. Like, I assure you, you're born with the gifts, whoever you are, right? You can do better than your mentor. Otherwise, what's the point being mentored? You have to truly believe that you can and you will. You can achieve greatness. So I think that belief in yourself is one of the things I'd say many mentees don't have. They're literally worshiping the mentor as if the mentor is all knowing and all doing. No one is, right? I think this is why I would say positivity as a thing. It's not just something we talk about. It's something you actually become, something you do, right? And the first step is believe you can, and you will. So the second thing I would know that I think I see very often is mentees who don't take action. The question I ask is, why would I want to give you my time, my patience, my care, my love, my wisdom, if you're not going to do anything with it? To your point, Obia, I want, as a mentor, we want you to learn, become something, transforms. I mentioned that earlier, right? Become the person, the genius you're meant to be, the great person you're meant to be, person who does great things you're meant to be doing, right? Sometimes it means making money in your business. It has to mean making money in your business, right? Paulette, so I can see you, right? See, I'm at this stage in my, maybe is it a month or is it maybe this year, Paulette, where I'm looking at everyone and saying, right, what impact are you making? Are you willing to be judged by the numbers that your work, your service, our relationship brings? I'm willing to be judged by the numbers. So that's why I offer a guaranteed bestseller service, number one bestseller service, for example. It's a straightforward. Do I help you get selling enough books to be number one, or don't I? Same as mentoring. Do I help you grow your business or not? I accept your point. Mentoring is a longer term relationship that covers many more things in the overall development. I agree. Still, as a mentor, we want you to learn and implement, apply, begin that journey to your greatness. With our help, okay. With our input, yeah, okay, we'll take it, right? But if there's no change, the mentor will get frustrated. If nothing's changing, if no one's moving, I'm just wasting my time. It feels like. I know that's a bit harsh, I'm sure, but that's what it can feel like to a mentor. So I think people taking action is probably the biggest problem I see. People not taking action. Same thing, right? Look, here's the third one for you. The way mentoring works, it's almost like being a fly on the wall, because this person's watching you. They're watching their mentor. They're learning. So they're learning from us, modeling what we do, how we do, right? What we do, how we think, and how we become who we are. A question for you in the audience and for my friends on stage, and I'll give you a chance to answer it if you choose to, right? What is that fly seeing? What are we really modeling? Are we modeling success? Are we modeling good behavior? Are we modeling, how to build relationships? Are we modeling good character, good values? That's Dorothea mentioned. As mentors, I think we have to really begin to think, what is our mentee seeing? What are they learning from us? Look, and let me try and put it simply. Some people teach mentees criminal things, the shortcuts, ways to cheat the system to get to the top, for example. We don't want to be doing it. We don't want to be those people, right? Some people teach mentees what they think is right and the way that they, I say the shortcuts that they take. Ideally, we want our mentees to see us as the people we are, our true selves, right? Good people, people who have ambition, people who live with positivity, people who go give others grace, people who are, who keep pushing despite things going wrong. And people who don't just live for work, but actually live a rounded life. They have relationships, they have friends, they have hobbies, they have, they work on their health and their well-being. I'm saying that we want our mentees to see the true us and the true, I guess, characteristics it takes to become that person who does great things. As far as let me stop there and then let me ask you the question. Paulette, because I can see you. Anyone else can please feel free to. Cyrus, I think you probably have an idea on this. When your mentees look at you, what do they see? Is there a fly in your wall? What would they see? Now, do you care to answer me? Do you care to give me an idea?
Am I supposed to be answering?
I'll leave that with you first. Yeah, please do.
Okay. They see a sweet, nice Christian lady. But I'm not really I'm not. There's two sides of me. Coming from the electrical, working with men, dominant. They're now beginning to see that. They thought I was just really sweet and really nice. I am nice, but Paulette don't take no mess. Okay, so now they're beginning to see the personality that they never thought was there. And so now they're shook up because I had to put my foot down because I got done with the class that I spent 4 months every Saturday getting on Zoom, passing a class, and they wouldn't give me my certificate. I go, well, why can't I get my certificate like everybody else? I passed everything. Why is your judgment on me harder than the other people? So those are the little things I dealt with. I said some things that, not to the mentor, but to the secretary, that I expect my certificate like everybody else. I'm not asking for anything more. I spent my money, I spent my time, and please let me know what's going on. And the person in charge had no clue that I was treated differently. But when she found out, she took care of the problem.
I love that. No, being assertive, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Yeah, I think there's something to and I think you made my point. People have a view of who we are and what we portray to the world. I'm saying, but the real truth, mentoring really works when we're willing to show our mentees who we really are, what it really takes. Good or bad. I'm saying they will take from me what they wish, right? Dr. Dorothea, please. I can see you as well. So.
Sure. So I would say when people see me, they see an intelligent, kind person. And probably because I wear boots a lot, cowboy boots a lot, because I'm a Texan, a person who doesn't take a whole lot of crap from anybody. And that shows up in my persistence, I think, in being able to be where I am today with, my degrees and my career. And a person who seeks out solutions where some people see none. I'll find a solution and work with whomever I need to find that solution and put it in place.
That's just lovely, right? Again, that's not written anywhere, right? The persistence, the tigerish behavior, the approach, never giving up. So that these are the things I think mentees need to see, right? You know, and look, and I know you well enough, Dr. Dorothy, to know you've overcome a mountain of things, and they are never stopped. You know, that is that's brilliant. You know, so that's what people really need to see and know and pay attention to. You know, so you know, our niceness, yes, of course, that's one part. Our genius, yes, but the personality is probably the thing. You know, is who we really be, who we are. I think I'm trying to get people to really understand and look into. Cyrus, Jamie, do you want to add to this part of the conversation? If you do, please unmute yourselves. I don't know who's going to unmute first. Mike, I'm going to come to you next. Don't turn your camera off, Mike. Okay, Mike, I'm with you because Cyrus and Jamie are not talking.
I was waiting for Jamie.
Oh, you're waiting for Jamie. I said, Mike, give me a second. So Cyrus,
No. Please go ahead. I'll wait for Mike.
Okay, all right. Don't forget we've got our show on Sunday, Mike. Cyrus. So we're gonna
Yes,
talk
sir.
about money. Just about money, right? We know that's on Sunday night, so do join us. I'm sure I'll send you all the link. It'd be great to hear your thoughts. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Just to be to provide some adversarial conversation.
Please go for it. Interesting conversation.
Well, I think there's multiple ways of mentorship, right? And the ultimate and best way to mentor is to have a mentee-mentor relationship that is two-way, to your point. But I've also had situations where I was the mentor and didn't really have the cooperation of the mentee. Oops. So I think that's a challenge. And then the question becomes, do you want to continue? And so in some cases, I'm like, look, I'm here for you, but I'm not going to chase you. So if you are interested and if you want to, learn from my experience, I'm here. If you don't, I'm not going to pursue you. So I think that's sort of the least advantageous, right? Is when you don't have that two-way. What I was bringing up in the comments is that I have been mentored or gained knowledge and advice, if you will, without being communicating with the mentor, because I've seen, and you could say maybe it's not a relationship, but I've seen successful people, or I've seen people that had done well for themselves, and I learned by them. So I don't know if you necessarily want to call it a mentor. I consider them mentors, even though I didn't have interaction with them. And then there's the negative side of that. So there's the people that I don't want to emulate, and I consider them mentors as well.
How not to be.
Yes, exactly. What not to be and how not to do it. So I don't know if that helps, but and then I do draw the distinction between coaching and mentorship. Primarily, mentorship is unpaid, and coaching is paid. So that's kind of where I draw the distinction relative to mentorship and coaching.
That's a great insights, my friend. And then please talk about this. This is a comment you made earlier, right?
Well, believe it or not, I'll never forget this. So I was mentoring someone, and in essence, I'm like, wait a minute. You came to me and you're asking for advice and particularly in cyber in this case. And you started arguing with me. I'm like, whoa. I'm trying to provide guidance, but if it doesn't stick, what's the point? What are we doing here? If in essence, now just to be clear, this wasn't like kind of a friendly question. This was like almost like an adversarial argument. I'm like, I'm not interested in defending my lived experience and my expertise to you. If you don't want to hear it, God bless you, and be on your way. And the other thing about that, I'm sorry, but I think that folks are stuck in their phones and such. You have to really be paying attention. If when I'm here with you, Annie, I'm here. I bring attention and intention. If you don't want, not you, but if someone doesn't want to pay attention, then don't, don't strike up a mentee mentor relationship if you're not interested. It's
Totally.
you're wasting the mentor's time, and ultimately you're wasting your own time. So
No, saying that I love your point. Are you actually listening? That's the point I was saying earlier about mentees have to be willing, desperate to learn. Literally, desperate to learn. And when you say guidance isn't glitter, it doesn't just stick on its own. You have to lean in, soak it up, and stop scrolling mid-lesson, I tell you. And that is truly, that's a path to greatness, my friend. The greatness that calls, as you mentioned, as you put it there, but it has been put on hold. And I said mentees who truly value the relationship, are truly willing to learn, can transform their lives with the right mentors. But many people don't want to transform their lives, really. How can you be scrolling mid-conversation? People do that. People do, right?
well, if you're talking to me, Annie, and you're on your phone, I mean, you're looking down on your phone, you're not engaged. I'm sorry. And unfortunately, that happens quite often. I wanted to finish my share with the thought that when the student is ready, the master appears. And I really believe that, because in a lot of cases, I think people just here, I can share something with them, and I do want to caution, whether you're a mentee or not, I also believe that we can influence others, and you do. I consider you a mentor of a type to me. But we can't discount our impact on the lives of other people, particularly obviously in a positive fashion, and as a caution in a negative way. If we're not uplifting, or I gotta tell you, there's a couple instances in my life that were pivotal, that had I listened and interacted in that way, I wouldn't be doing what I do today. Like I stopped sharing my poetry for some period of time because of interaction. I stopped sharing my vocal abilities. I was actually supposed to sing a duet at my first wedding, and that didn't happen because my mother-in-law made a nasty comment. So I think we have to be careful, both positive and negative, that we are impacting constantly the lives of others, and we have to be careful about how we go about that.
We truly do. I agree with you, Jamie. I want to go to Jamie quick, because Jamie might be going. Jamie, do you want to add to the conversation?
No, I think a lot of good stuff's been said. Like, I mean, like we've shared a lot of great information here. I mean, everyone's kind of had some really good viewpoints on different things when it comes to mentorship, and even in the comments too. I mean, we've been having a lot of good conversation here. So I mean, honestly, this has been I've taken some notes on some of these things when people are talking about some of the ways that that relationship has to happen between both parties. So no, I think it's been a great conversation so far.
Brilliant. I'm glad you're back. So I thought we lost you for a second. Let's talk to Cyrus. It'll probably be our last comment for the day, unless my friends want to give us the last biggie. I don't like saying your last words. If you have one big thing that you want to take away today, then so happily come around the room and you can share it with us. Dr. Anthony, welcome, sir. Glad you're here. The mentors are supposed to wake up the potential of mentees. They are, but only if mentees are willing to be woken up, right? And if they actually do wake up and actually want to take action, as Mike said, right? It's more than transferring knowledge, but having the commitment to learn from each other. Exactly that, my friends. Challenges arise when both of them have poor understanding of the expectations or goals to be achieved. Well said. Well said. Well said. Mr. Cyrus, I don't know which Cyrus is on stage. I think there were two of them. There are two of them in the studio. Mr. Cyrus, which one of you is there? Okay, you got to add this one to stage as well. Okay.
Thank you. Can you hear me, Annie?
I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. So I just wanted to play something for you guys. But before I do that, I just wanted to say, mentors, coaches, whatever you want to call them, right? So depending upon your needs, obviously, they are teachers. And some of them stay in our minds forever, like a high school teacher, or I don't know, like a PE teacher that you had in your life, right? So I've recently created a song. It's called "That One Teacher." Okay, that one teacher. So I'm gonna play that for you guys. I dedicate it to all of the mentors, coaches, and especially teachers who are in the room. With all due respect to everybody.
We all remember that one face, the one who taught us how to chase. Not what to think, but how to dream. They lit the spark, they built the team. That one teacher made us better, taught our hearts to stay true forever. That one teacher changed our way, taught us how to live life each day. They taught us how to feel, not hide, how to be human deep inside. That one teacher we remember, that one teacher stays forever.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you. You know, I guess we're all that one teacher for someone, right? That's a point of our conversation today. You know, I think it's a blessing as much as it is, you know, it's work. Dr. Leslie says, I mentor very few who are hell bent on learning. So I don't mentor people who don't want to learn from me, and I don't charge. You know, I'm always minded with Mike's share last word that he shares often in our events, that the person who came back to him 35 years later to share how it really influenced their lives and their career. And I say, you never know, you just never, in the world of social media especially, you never know who's watching you. That's my question earlier. What are they really seeing? We have to be very mindful of what. Maybe is it being mindful? I think we need to aspire and aim to be that person, right? That person who does what we hope our mentees will learn. How to aspire, how to aim big, how to aim for achieve the potential. Maybe not aim big, maybe that's probably the wrong word, but achieve the potential. Build a life of happiness, joy, success, maybe even wealth. Paulette, I'm not against wealth, right? So, but that comes with all the things Dr. Dorothea mentioned: consistency, discipline, commitment. You know, this is the point of our conversation today. The mentoring, when it works, is beautiful.
Wealth is more than just the Benjamins.
We'll talk about that later on Monday. I knew you were going to go there, Mike.
No,
I might disagree with you, Mike. Mike, I disagree with you.
Okay.
But I'll show you why on Sunday, I promise you.
Oh, fair enough.
I'm not disagreeing, really. I'm saying to you,
well, you are disagreeing.
Wealth is not a bad thing.
I never said it was a bad thing. If I'm rich in relationships, I think the Benjamin comes, right?
And I agree.
And to your point, and we can save it for Sunday, but if you are having the right relationship, whether it's a mentee or your customer, the money will come. Well, not with a mentee, but yeah. So
yeah, no, reverse mentoring is a thing, right? You know, mentor must be willing to learn from the apprentice. We must. Otherwise, we are literally.
In terms of mentees, you got to have, if you're a coach, you got to have some sort of vetting system in place, because based on what Jamie said, based on what Paulette said, it's important to build that relationship, because it goes both ways, and you both need to get the dividends out of this, both the mentor and the mentee. And sometimes, so when I say vetting system, what I mean is, before accepting some sort of CEO, business owner, or whatever, go to your own mentor. So we all have adoptive mentors, like that we haven't adopted by, right? So as an example, I've chosen one of the mentors that I have in my life is Annie. So I go from that incident and onwards. I go to Annie, and I say, all right, Annie, do you think I should go with this person? I should not go with that person. The first the bitter experience that I had on LinkedIn was I didn't pick up the sign. So I wasn't explicitly advised against the mentee, but I was told in a very extremely polite way, and to the point it was so sugar coated. I couldn't eat it for a donut, to be honest. That's how sugar coated it was. So I didn't take the hint, and in a way I was told, no, don't do it, you'll regret it. And I have the screenshots to prove as well. If anyone wants, I can send the screenshots, and that's the kind of mentee you don't want. And so without going through unnecessary details, but the proof is in the pudding. So some sort of vetting is necessary. So ever since I go to my more experienced mentors and say, all right, so I've got this company approaching me. They want this, they want that. Should I do it? Should I not do it? And that has saved me a lot of hassle, and I'm grateful for that, Annie. Thank you.
I think again, this is probably one of the vagaries of mentoring. A good mentor won't say to you, do this. They'll say to you, you might want to think about. And then sometimes, you make a choice, right? Sometimes is right, sometimes it's not right, and then you learn, right? We all do. If you want someone who's going to direct you, get a coach. A coach will tell you, right, here's how you do it. This is a formula. This is how it's done. Go do it, and come tell me how it works for you, right? A mentor is much more gentle, which again brings me back to the point that we need mentees, and we as mentees must have that keenness to learn honestly, to be honest with ourselves, to be honest with what we need to learn, to be honest with where the gap in our knowledge is. And it's a challenge. It's a challenge, my friends. But I want to thanks for sharing, Mike. For sharing. I have to acknowledge my two best friends on LinkedIn. When Sharon Rose is in the house, I'm happy. And that gratitude is the attitude. Maybe that's again. There's a point to that, right? I think we should be grateful for those who pour into us. I definitely think that's something that we could all do, and then that'll help us to learn more as well. And so, of course, Linda. So Linda's cooking up a storm. You're making me hungry now. My wife's called him and said, "Any food's ready?" I don't know. It's not my food. It's their food that's ready. It's Nigerian food. It's a bit different, right? But thank you so much, everyone. As Jamie said, it's been an amazing session. Jamie, please, I'll let you have the last word.
No, this was a really great session, honestly. I mean, a lot of good conversation, a lot of things that I took away from this, obviously. And, it just goes to show that it's not as simple as just having a mentor and a mentee. There's a lot that goes into the relationship. It's about finding the right one, and it's about making the relationship count, right? I've taken some things away that I'll, continue to focus on when I'm working with people. So, well done, everybody. This was a great conversation. I'm excited to see what we're going to talk about next week to continue this positivity, continue moving past 3 years. It's 3 years, and let's keep it going with these great conversations.
Happy third birthday to us, Jamie. How good is that? Now, Mike, thank you so much. Whisper Boy, you're a star as always. Leslie, Dr. Leslie, Dr. Anthony, So thank you for spending your time with us. Now, of course, Paulette as well. We're sharing genius, Dr. Dorothea. I can mention everyone to know that I've probably done Native Faith. I see you, of course. Thank you for spending your time with us. Yeah, so I will invite you. Ijoma, I do see you. So yeah, I will invite you to our show on Sunday. Do join us? So Mike is a great thinker. So I'm looking forward to how he places money in the scheme of things. Dr. Stanley Festus. There's many more people who joined us today. Thank you so much, all of you. Look, enjoy your weekend. And maybe Carrie as well. No, do connect, my friends. Do connect with each other, right? You never know. Your mentor might be here, but the mentor you need, and don't think a mentor is someone who's older and necessarily more successful. It's someone who knows something that you don't know that well, right? They know more about something than you do. Now, James is a recruitment mentor, for example. I'm saying you never know who can help you, who you can help. If you don't connect and talk, I don't know how you're going to get anywhere. I'm leaving the card open, Mike. Look, my friends, enjoy. Thank you so much. So I wish you a happy weekend. And let's do this again next Friday, same time. Take care, everyone. Take care.
Take care, everybody.
Celebrate it with or without champagne or rum. Achieve success with global.media.